The Alpha Sessions.
Welcome to Alpha Sessions. I am joined here by the fabulous Will Pope. I'm really happy that you could actually join, just mostly because I saw that you were kind of from Yorkshire as well. So I was just kind of like, oh, Yorkshire pals, love it. I never get to see people like you in London, and it just gives me a bit of a boost. Whereabouts from Yorkshire was it again? Was it? Rotherham, that was it. So like you're kind of south of Leeds.
Yeah. South, just outside Sheffield. After that, I moved away. I moved to Leeds for a few years, and then I moved to Swansea, and then I moved to Beijing, and I stayed there for about 5 or 6 years, and then I moved to London.
Wow, that's actually like kind of intense, really.
Yes. So it's quite it's quite an odd itinerary.
I like that though, because like I think usually when it comes to music, if you've hopped around like different places, you kind of pick up like a kind of new identity in your music as well. I don't know if that's the same for you.
Yeah, I mean, I had like really niche interests in music like from an early age, and I kind of always knew what I liked, and then I guess I never really, to be quite honest, I never really knew what was going on in the different music scenes in these different cities, except for Beijing and now London, because I didn't really do any music till I was like I didn't actually go out and try and perform till I was like 25.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that, because like you sound like you've been doing it for a pretty long time.
Is this a nice way of saying I look old and tired?
No, like I mean, like just like your skill with your guitar playing and everything. I assumed that you'd basically been doing this since you were like a teenager. Like performing just seemed to come naturally to you. I don't know.
I mean, I'm playing guitar. I started learning guitar when I was like 14. Piano and stuff. I'm self-taught with all of it, so like I never really took lessons. I never did music in school, so I never went to university and did the whole music school thing. I didn't sing until I was like 25. Didn't really do it much. Like I maybe like sang like under my breath quietly in my bedroom when no one was listening, you know. But I never actually like decided, I'm going to learn how to do it.
But sometimes that's a pretty good approach, I feel, because I've known quite a few musicians in the scene that are kind of self-taught, and they didn't do the whole university sort of thing, and it oddly worked out better for them because they had a lot more time to put into getting to know the actual industry as opposed to just music. Because I feel like in university they don't really teach you how to get in the industry and how to promote yourself as much as you could learn from literally just doing it yourself and doing trial and error.
Yeah.
So like, do you feel as though sometimes you missed out on some things like you could have done if you picked the route of going to uni, or do you think you pretty much?
Oh, I definitely feel like I missed out. Definitely.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I when I went to university, I mean, it's weird because it's like I don't want to say like I regret doing what I did do at university, because I did go and I studied like history and English, you know.
That sounds really interesting.
But I really enjoyed it.
That in a second. Yeah, like that
quite
sounds like something I'd enjoy.
And nerdy, so I've always like really enjoyed reading and stuff. So like it was really good to spend those few years doing that. But when I was that old, when I was making those decisions, like I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like I knew like beneath it all that music was this thing which was like immovable, you know. But I don't know. I didn't really know how significant that was, because I hadn't really tried to make a life for myself. You know what I mean? I was still like living at home. I was still like. So when I went to Beijing and stuff, and you know, again, like moving to China was also like a kind of just off the cuff. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to go explore sort of thing. Right?
Yeah.
I was never like a Sinophile. I never like had like a huge interest in China or anything like that. But I went there because I was just kind of. It sounds kind of strange, but in a way you're kind of like a migrant worker because you have like a degree, but it was like post 2008. There wasn't a lot of graduate jobs going. The job market was a bit of a mess in the UK, and so a lot of people would just end up doing the TEFL and going abroad, and that's kind of what I ended up doing.
That's interesting. Yeah, like I think generally it's just a really weird thing to me, especially like in this country we have this thing where we pressure teenagers to just figure out what they're going to do for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And then they reach the age of like, you know, like mid-20s and they realize, oh, I kind of regret choosing this. Yeah. And now they're kind of stuck because the thing is that like education isn't free. So, you know, you can't just be like, right, now I'm going to take this college course because I figured that this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, you're trapped because you're not rich.
Well, kind of. And like a lot of people, like even at like older ages, like something like you get what with like the elections that are going on at the moment, it's like you don't hear anything about like further education for adults or something like that. You know, you go like a lot of people who are going to need to change their jobs like very soon because of AI and all the rest of it. And there's like literally zero talk. No one's talking about like you know, what are they going to do instead? You know, like spent their whole life training to be a software engineer, and now they don't need to do any of it. You know,
AI is my new sleep paralysis demon. That is another thing. That's like
big
that's
thing in music
thing
as well. Like it's crazy.
Really crazy because like a lot of the time now, you know, you can't even tell a difference. I went on a bit of like I don't know, like a little wormhole of researching different ways I could produce, because I like looking into different ways I can produce to open my mind a bit as to what my sound could sound like. And I found these websites where you could actually download AI producing a song for you. You just basically like control how much blues you want and how much R&B you want and stuff like this. Do you want guitar? Do you want piano? And then it just makes everything for you.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's just crazy scary for the arts. But one thing, like, I don't know if they really can replicate is live performing, really. Can they?
ABBA Voyage.
Oh, no.
It's pretty good.
I forgot about that. So they can.
I mean, that's virtual reality, so I guess it's like kind of you could see it like.
It's good to a degree. It's good to a degree. I'm happy with the fact that they can't fully replicate live performing now. So
what was it?
Fingers crossed.
Didn't Drake use? He used your man Tupac. Like brought his voice back. Like used it like an AI impression of his voice in one of his songs. They
do this a lot. I feel like I've seen a million covers of Bring Me to Life, either by Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants or like, and it actually sounds legit, which is really weird. It's something I didn't know I needed. But yeah, like all of this stuff. I don't know. Do you think this is a good thing though? Because like there are some artists where you feel like you wish that you could have heard more of.
Yeah, I guess it's just a mixed bag, and it's going to be what it's going to be. Like the cat's out of the bag at this point. There's no putting it back in. Like it just is what it is. I think like a lot of like I've spoken to people who work in this like from an academic point of view, and a lot of them are aware of these like songwriting tools, these AI songwriting tools that kind of, you know, act as though they're going to give you a new song, but quite often what they're doing is really limited and quite basic. But there is maybe it could get to a point where it's really like intelligent and complex, and you know, making us think that what we're listening to is something somehow novel and innovative, and it's really like hard to know at this point. It's really like we're just gonna have to ride the wave, see where it takes us.
I like to think of the positive of things, you know. Like I think, obviously, I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's a good thing that AI is taking over music, because that'd be a bit of a hypocrite if I said that. But yeah, like I think, especially when like sampling first became a thing, right? Yeah. So you got people like obviously troublesome artist to talk about, but Kanye West. But he was a bit of a genius in what he was doing with sampling. Like Jay-Z as well. Like they were just like, you can basically just sample any music, but they kind of turned it into an instrument by clipping it and then changing the pitching and everything like that. You alter it so much that it becomes a new form of like art, like a new source of art. And so sampling has kind of become its own instrument, as opposed to just somebody copy and pasting and looping, you know. So I think maybe, I mean, people are smart. I mean, sure, there's a lot of pretty dumb people in this world, but like people are smart, and I think they can figure out a way to use AI to their artistic advantage and just be like, ha,
100%.
take that AI.
Yeah, I mean, you could even like right now, you could like imagine, like, you know how you get like gigs, you have like a live sketcher playing in the background, like drawing something while the song's playing live. You could have an AI doing something like that.
I guess so, yeah.
It could be essentially listening, if you like, to the music and then creating an image at the same time that the band is playing. And then all of a sudden you've got like these two creative things happening at the same time, which, you know, there's like tons of like different weird little things like that could happen. And then there's also the stuff like that we have no idea about yet, you know, that's going to happen like 10, 15 years from now.
So, talk me through these songs that you performed.
Okay.
Rigmarole. Talk me through, was this inspired by an actual person? Like, is there anything that was going on more than what, like, I can pick up on? I thought, like, it sounded as though it was like a sort of bittersweet feeling of, like, you want to work through things with this person. But yeah, like, talk me through it.
It's the song broadly, I guess, is about this feeling that your life is just a story that you tell yourself, and from that also your sense of identity and everything about the world around you is just a story that you tell yourself. If you think about it, like, out of all of everything that you've experienced, 99% of it you've forgotten. 1% of it is your sense of self, your sense of your life, your sense of who you are, your sense of the world around you, because the vast majority of your real experience is just automatic. It's just like forgotten. Like, you know, it might come back in like little bits, but if you think about like where you were on the 13th of March 2006, you can't remember, right?
Like, I really can't.
No, right? I mean, unless something significant happened, you wouldn't remember. And so, like, the song Rigmarole takes like the meaning of the word. Obviously, usually, commonly refers to a tired bureaucratic process that kind of lasts a very long time. It also means a story that rambles and has no end. And in that way, the song is kind of about that in many ways it kind of feels like your life can feel a bit like a rigmarole, like this rambling story that you keep telling yourself.
Fall into me before I find you missing, and all that's left are words on a page from a reel of scattered images. This time it'll be full-bodied and authentic. It's a throwback we can all be on board with, an investment you can't quite give up on. Yeah, I'm caught in a rigmarole that's getting old, just giving all that you have left to give. Still poised to carry on this fettered soul. When you get down to it time and time again, it's all I'll ever be. Well, don't look back, 'cause if I take stock, all I am, I forgot. And I know it's been a while, my bad blood, it's all but vented, and I've accepted not to expect too much. Oh, I gave up all pretense, I left overheat, and hidden in your veins is a sign that something's listening. even when it's just me banging on about some newfound feat that I've stumbled across, caught in a rigmarole that's getting old, just giving all that you have left to give. I'm still poised to carry on this fettered soul. When I get down to it time and time again, it's all I'll ever be. Don't look back if I take stock. All I am, life forgot. I sit in the back while nobody steals. It's almost as if we were never really here.
The Alpha Sessions.
Music in general has changed. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, since we were kids. What year were you born in?
92.
92. Okay, so like, yeah, I was born 97, so like
Okay.
not that far off. But like, I mean, when we were kids, it was like music videos. You needed a music video to sell your music, because I think the fact that like with the new generation, you're getting all sorts of new forms of media exposed to you when you're so tiny, that it's essential to not just have music anymore. You have to have, you know, fashion, you have to have a storyline in your music videos. Everything needs to be artistic, everything needs to have an aesthetic, and everything needs to be like amplified 1,000 times. And I feel like, yeah, music in itself is changing, and you can't just have music anymore. You need to sort of show your face all the time. You need to update your TikToks on a daily basis.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you feel this pressure? Like,
Oh, 100% I do, yeah. I growing up, like, as I say, I was born in 1992, so I was a teenager when MySpace was happening, and you know, I remember, like, socializing without social media, and I remember socializing with it, you know what I mean? And I didn't...
MySpace.
Yeah, I know, right? Such a throwback. And I didn't gel with it then, and I don't really gel with it now on a personal level. Like, I just don't... I've never really enjoyed being on it, and... But it is just a necessary part of it now. Like, you would just have to, as you say, you have to post daily, just for the sake of getting past the algorithms, or letting the algorithms, like, elevate you a little bit. And then also, you need to post daily, but you also need to make it good. It can't just be naff.
I kind of noticed that, though. This is the thing. Like, I was just literally talking about this like a couple of minutes ago. I was like, because I looked on like your social media and everything, and obviously I could see that like you update videos and everything of like TikToks of you performing with your guitar and everything. When it came down to it, it's like you didn't seem like the type of person who would gravitate towards showing everything about their personal life on social media. Do you know what I mean? Like, you show your music. Yeah. But it's like I could sense this person who doesn't like showing everything about like their private life. Like, especially in like your music videos, I found that like I watched your music videos, by the way. You guys should totally check it out on Will Pope's YouTube. And I found that like a lot of it gravitated towards filming other people instead of you. Yeah. Is this like intentional, or?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of on a personal level. There's like the awkwardness of being in front of a camera. Like, it's just I've had to get used to that, and just kind of getting over that feeling. And then I suppose also like a lot of these songs, I kind of like the idea of them telling stories in themselves without it having to be like a montage of me. Like like as you say, there's all these like TikTok videos and so on of like live performances or me covering someone's song. I feel like I've got loads of videos that basically are just of me playing the guitar. So when it came to like the music videos, I felt like I wanted to do something a bit different.
I like that though. It's like a new approach, and obviously, like I said, people don't like just seeing the same thing over and over again. You gotta change it up and amplify it 10,000 times, and
100%.
But yeah, like I mean, like when it comes to that, if you had like an ideal world, where you could like take away social media and you could actually make it just by live performing and recording and writing, would you?
I don't know what that world would be.
I suppose a world in like the 50s or 60s. maybe. I don't know what
Take
world
me back
it
to
would
the
be
50s.
like if we
Those
didn't
were the
have
good days.
social media.
I kind of like the time that we're in now, and it's tough. It's really tough, but I don't think it's ever not been tough. It's just been different types of tough, you know. And I think you just have to figure out a way for it to work, for you or for me, you know. And that's kind of what I've been doing. Like as in terms of like the social media side of things, like it's definitely like a work in progress for me, like because I'm kind of like, to tell the full story, like I decided after coming back from Beijing that I was going to record and mix and release songs that I'd been gigging with in Beijing. I hadn't done any recording, hadn't done any mixing before, and I just stayed in a friend's studio in somewhere in Hackney at the time and basically slept in a sleeping bag on the floor for like a month and worked during the nights and basically just crash coursed it. And what I ended up with was this 8-track release called Burying Giants, which had Stormy Seas on it, which was like one of the songs that got me on like noticed in certain places. And I kind of just released all that in one go, and with hindsight, I know now that that was probably the wrong thing to do. But, like,
don't crash course, and don't like stay in a sleeping bag on the floor. Take care of yourself. I mean, like, yeah, I get it. When you get obsessed with a certain thing, you do want a crash course, and I get you on that, because you get so addicted to it that it's like, you know, you don't want to eat, you don't want to pee, you just want to stay there.
You stay stuck in that in that focus. And I did that. I released all that stuff, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh crap, there's all this social media stuff that I need to do. I wasn't really aware of. So like it's definitely a work in progress for me, and it's something that I'm working on. Like I've got like bands that I really love at the moment that I follow, and you kind of look at what they're doing and see if there's anything you can learn from what they're doing. And so many of them are so like perfectly curated. It's like they started with a very clear vision, very clear idea, and they were like, right, okay, we're going to do this, and in a year we're going to be here, and a year after that we're going to be here. In that sense, like it's difficult because the social media side of things, like it's very easy for it to end up looking very slapdash, which is I suppose why I'm trying to eke my way out of slowly into something more focused, I suppose.
Body or my soul, no matter how I weigh things down, I'm still lighter than feathers. My hands, they open wide and waiting to be caught and given permission, but my angels won't arrive, so I wait for you, 'cause I like it when I get to see you come back home. Down here, where the sun shines bleakest on the most beautiful eyes you'll ever see. Down here, you learn to take what little the light provides in heat. I'll take you out, and everywhere I know is so sick, out of love. So we walk into this church something out of paper cups. And secretly I like the way she sings the first melody that pops into her head. Down here, where the sun shines bleakest on the most beautiful eyes you'll ever see. Down here, you learn to take what little the light provides in heat. Provides in heat. Oh, I was taken to the edge of the map. I was thrown off the edge, thrown off the edge. So throw your arms around my ribs in your animal print shirt, and I'll tell you it's gonna be alright, even when I'm not sure. I found a way to measure each day, tiny victories. Down here, where the sun shines bleakest on the most beautiful eyes you'll ever see. Down here, you learn to take what little the light provides in heat. Provides in heat. Provides in heat.
The Alpha Sessions.
I wrote that song during this sort of difficult time, and it's kind of about taking joy in the small things. Is broadly what it's about, and trying to like see the light when it's there, you know, and to kind of take stock of those moments and keep them and experience them to their fullest. And it's definitely about my my partner as well, who really sort of helped me through this really sort of difficult time, and sort of spending time with her. And
So who was it? Sorry, I completely. I was so scared of asking you because
go
I'm
ahead.
just
It's
like, it
absolutely fine.
seems like it's quite recent. But who was it that you've lost?
my
recently?
mum died last year.
Oh, bless you,
Yeah.
bless you. It's like it's always like the weirdest thing losing a parent. I lost my dad when I was 11, so
I'm
it's
sorry.
like
Yeah.
I feel as though like it's this weird thing where you kind of think it's like something out of a movie almost, right?
Yeah.
And at first it just doesn't seem real because you're like, no, that can't have happened, right? Like,
Yeah, no, it's the shock is real, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
and the denial and the kind of like passivity of it as well. Like, you're kind of there, but you're not there. It's this, it's trauma, right? And it's just the impact that has. I can't imagine how really, really hard that must have been as an 11-year-old.
it differs with people with how long it takes them to process everything and to find their own way of working through it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's brain is different.
Yeah.
Everyone's emotions are different.
Yeah.
And you can't have anybody telling you, oh, it took me this long to get over it, so it'll probably take you another few years, or like, oh, it didn't take me that long to get over it. Like, everyone has their different ways of getting through it. Everyone has their different techniques that they use for their anxiety, if they ever feel anxiety or depression or like, you know.
Yeah.
It's all fitted to each individual person. So, yeah, I feel as though do you feel like music helps you in this?
100%.
Yeah.
100% helped me. Music is, even when I wasn't like performing and releasing music, like even before, when I was like a teenager or in my early 20s, and I would still journal. And when I would journal, I would write a song. And so like it's always been a kind of, this creative process has always been as a way of sort of coping, I suppose. And music has definitely continued to be that kind of crutch for me on just a purely personal level. And True to Form as a project really kind of helped me actively deal with it rather than push it to one side, because there's such a huge temptation to do that, right? Because it's this ginormous, terrible thing that you really don't want to have to face. But knowing that I was going to have like something at the end of that I could go like, right, well, this will commemorate to some extent some of it, or it will actually go into something else, and it's not just going to be there and then be nothing. Like it's a really hard thing to try and describe. I struggle to be able to describe it, honestly, and I even think True to Form in many ways is about that, but it's also about other things. And maybe in some sense, like I was thinking about this yesterday, like maybe I'm just not actually ready to actually do that thing which I have in my mind, and what's actually coming out is it's a bit of column A, is a bit of column B. It's like it's this experience that I've had that I wanted to talk about, but it's also a lot of column B stuff that's just sort of appeared. And yeah, it's like you say, it's everyone's different, and it's just a case of working through it as best you can. And it does take a very long time, and that's one thing that I've learned, like after a year, like it's still very present.
Someone actually told me, like whilst they were dealing with the loss of their grandfather during lockdown, and I've never heard a metaphor that hit so true in my life.
Yeah.
So imagine grief or loss as you've got a ball in a box, and there's a hole.
Yeah.
So at first the hole is huge. The ball is just constantly going to keep going through, and the ball is your emotions going through, and you're going to pour out these emotions and get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But through time, the hole gets smaller. So as the ball is rolling around in this box, less times it's going to go through that hole, and less times your emotions going to pour. It's gradually going to be less times that you end up crying.
Yeah.
However, the ball is still the same ball.
Yeah.
Still the same emotions.
Yeah.
You're never going to hurt like a lot. It's never going to be like, oh, that's pretty sad. It's going to hurt just as much, but it's just going to happen a lot less.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be reminded a lot less. But if you start remembering like the pretty good times that you had, if you start focusing on that more, then the sad feelings will get smaller.
Yeah. That's a really
comparison.
good metaphor. It's really good. Yeah. I see that.
Thank you for being an amazing person for me to interview. Like, man, we've gotten into some topics, and I've got a lot to think of. I feel like I've gone to therapy right now. Yeah, I've had such an insightful time talking to you. It's been absolutely lovely. And also, like, again, like I said, your performance, it genuinely felt like you'd been performing for so long. It just kind of, super skilled. So easy to have all eyes on you as well, like, and ears as well. I've been LA Mattisse. This has been Alpha Sessions. Catch us on YouTube if you're listening. And yeah, you've been Will Pope, and you've been awesome.
True to form, no, I've got nothing on you. Although memory has me spellbound, I'm down and out between the waves. I'm in this in-between stasis, 'cause for what it's worth, we're not where we saw ourselves a million years ago. Give me your list of broken dreams and empty promises. It's been so long we've lost the plot of this life we were holding on. Now I'm just killing time I'm tying each loose end that I can find. I'm running out of steam. I'm in need of tough advice. Oh, put your faith in me, so I won't dream alone. And tell me everything, and I'll show you how to get back home. Back home. It's been another week, trapped among old London's stolen antiques. I'm wondering why you'd ever left, and if you got the time to come and shoot the breeze and dance among some ancient ruins. We'll laugh until we're young, forget where you're falling from, 'cause I won't dream alone. Oh, tell me everything, and I'll show you how to get back home, back home. We're on frozen ground in the dead of night, leaving nothing behind but fears. We're on frozen ground in the dead of night, leaving nothing behind but fear. Oh, put your faith in me, and I'll show you how to get back